Good afternoon, everyone. This is RAND. Welcome to the Friday, January 31st, 2025 Global Guided Meditation Call after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a Reverse Aging Health Call tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Imagine if you could direct your attention, your focus, at will. And imagine that you, by doing that, you knew that you would be creating and to form whatever it was you were focusing on. It'd be like second nature. And you would, so your attention would go, where do you think it would go? Now, understanding that we have the step process where we learn how to become masters and commanders of this body and of our futures. And when you know that you are creating your future by your focusing, what do you think that does? Now, a crucial element is that the majority of the time you want to be in the now. You want to be in the heart mind. Obviously, after you've mastered the ego mind, you will automatically be in heart mind. The reason I say this is that if you focus on something, your attention, where attention goes, energy flows. And it's your ego mind, it's very convoluted. Because remember, ego mind is yesterday and tomorrow, never in the now. Insecure, focused on what it wants, and the mind dictating to you what it wants. And the stress factors and suffering factors. So it really isn't, although many people do it unconsciously, but it isn't really the avenue that you care to be in when you focus your attention. Because that influence is far-reaching. Where do you think we get judgment from? Judgment on ourselves and others. Where do you think we get protecting ourselves from? We're not. We're protecting the ego. So when you see, it really is being aware. You are aware of this deeply. So it's like you slip into the ego mind, you know it. So it's really not an issue. You know exactly what to do to move yourself out of ego mind. It's in the meditation, you find a comfortable position. You have no outside interference. You begin to relax into your body. You're as still as a statue, and you focus on your breath rising and falling. Just as you naturally breathe, that's what you're doing. You're focused on your breath rising and falling as you naturally breathe. That's the now. That's where your power is. It isn't in yesterday and tomorrow, because in the now, as we all know, we're creating our future. I've talked to so many people over the last, several months where they're aware that they are creating their futures in the now. And they know the difference of being ego-minded yesterday and tomorrow and heart-minded now. Which is very important. Because our whole point here is to focus through the heart-mind on the ego-mind to master the ego-mind through the heart-mind. There's no other way. You're not going to do it through ego mind. You're not going to master the ego mind through ego mind. And it's crucial for the civilization to come full circle with that, and each of us make the commitment to ourselves that we're going to master ego mind. And we have to leave it alone. You just leave it alone. How do you think you get a reaction? Excuse me. How do you get a reaction? Emotional reaction, right? And you're an ego mind. So something comes along, and you're irritated. Now, you're irritated inside at first. And it could be with somebody that you may know, you may not know, you're interacting with, you're talking with, or you're just standing there or sitting there. Or it might be something you're not in front of. It might be someone you're not in front of that might be somewhere else. And you notice that it builds. That little glitch builds and expands. And you find yourself focusing more and more on that. Now you comprehend that you don't care to be there. Even though you're there at that moment and you're doing all this, you kind of step in on yourself and say, I don't care to be here. So I'm going to focus on the now. I'm not only going to focus on the now, I'm going to focus on gratitude every single second. I'm focusing on gratitude. This helps us ascend ego mind, which means you're moving out of ego mind. You're ascending out of ego mind. You're becoming much more heart-minded, enlightened, aware. And so you're not judgmental patterned with it. You're not in ego mind because you're not in judgment of yourself. You're not irritated with yourself. You're not coming down on yourself. You've just decided and you've figured it out. By staying out of the ego mind in meditation with the heart mind, you begin to master the ego mind. And then you find yourself no longer having to protect yourself. You know, it's interesting. None of us have enemies. None of us. It's only what we create into our lives that creates our enemies. Now imagine if you're focused on certain avenues and areas. Are you going to attract enemies? No. You're not at that frequency. See, you're not in that goopy mire. And you are free from ego mind. Now, when you're in ego mind, you're kind of locked up. You've created these prisons for yourself. You know, when the ego mind starts working, you start configuring things, putting them together. Now, I bet you this, and I bet you that, and I'm wondering if this. And they're usually derogatory, some subtle, but some right in your face. But this is how you're learning, see? You might in the beginning just leave ego mind for a short period, just maybe 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But you start getting the gist of it. You start saying, I like this place. Because you discover that you don't have any suffering, you don't have any rejection, you don't have any fear, you don't have any stress, worry, anticipation, attachment, expectation. You don't have any of that. It's gone. Then you discover that, wait a minute, this is all ego mind. Because I'm in heart mind and none of that stuff is going on within me. See, when you fully comprehend that, then what do? Well, obviously, you continue through the heart mind to master the ego mind. And remember, the ego mind's not your enemy. Okay? It's there. We created it to be there so that we could learn and experience. It's almost like all of us were climbing a ladder. Okay? And each step was a different frequency. You're climbing this ladder and you go into higher and higher and higher and higher frequencies. And then, all of a sudden, all the ladders collapsed. And we fell. And we fell through all the frequencies that we had gone through. And we stopped at third dimensional frequency. Now, we also had amnesia. We didn't have a clue who and what we were. So we started from scratch. Now, we didn't know that there were elements imposing this on us. You have amnesia, you don't have that recall, say. You don't know who and what you are. So it's easy to influence the gods that we are in these bodies, to make us believe, right, that this is just the beginning. We're brand new. You're just starting right now, which is totally way beyond, way out of line from the actual truth. How do you go through that layer? See, that's that veil. And then on top of the veil, we're being educated, programmed, taught the opposite direction. All of us. And since we have amnesia, we embrace it. So we go along in life, right? And we follow the things that we have been taught. We create our own through life experience. And when we leave the body, we don't know who and what we are. Isn't that amazing? We don't know who and what we are when we leave the body. Now, question arises, it says, well then, okay, so I am a God, pure consciousness from this body. I leave this body. What do I know? Okay, here we go. What do I know? Well, you will go to what is called the other layer, another layer of the matrix, which means that you go into heaven or hell or in between. This is what's taught us for the most part. This is what we're programmed with. So we leave the body and eventually we follow the light. The light, however you want to look at it, the light, right? So we follow the light and we find that we come to this place, for the most part, which is wonderful and bright and colorful. And everybody's different. Every one of us that go there, it's a little bit of different experience. And, you know, some people have met Jesus, and some people have seen the angels in the sky singing and all this stuff. I don't care to burst the bubble with people, but that is illusion. That's all it is. To convince us gods that the true power is outside of us. And it isn't. Pretty nifty trick, though. Because then what happens? Well, we get enamored and we get seduced and we have all these figures showing up. Now, a lot of them are very familiar to us. See, because a lot of them came from this life, the life that you're in now, or you just left. And some of them came from other lifetimes. Now here's the question I have. And in a quiet time in this meditation, you just want to listen and see what feeling comes in as far as an answer. But we are pure cosmic light energy, okay? Photonic light field energy. And we're a ball of light. That's what we are. That's what we truly are. So we leave the physical form, the material physical form, Bill Benson, Mary Johnson, whatever, okay? And that's over. That form is done. That life is complete. So, but yet, you're carrying, what are you carrying? You still have this image that you're in the body. That's a fact. You have this, you feel that you're in the body. So you go into a room and there's always somebody that you may recognize, not all the time, might not be from this life, that helps you cross over to the other side. Where comfort you and reassure you and then you cross over to the other side. In a lot of cases, not all, but a lot of cases, you go into like a house or a building, and then all these people are there. And they've got food, and there's all these pets and animals, and you're sitting there going, what the heck? There's Aunt Mabel, and there's Uncle John, and there's Grandpa. See, this is the trick. This is the trick on us gods. We're seduced into that. So guess what? We embrace it. And then not too much later, you're over there, you do anything you want, and any of the things you weren't able to do or didn't do here in physical material form, you do, right? And then it gets to a stage where you then review things. Then you determine, I think I'm going to go back there. Now, here's an interesting. Your memory of the life that you had left is dissipating quickly. Everything about it's dissipating quickly. So by the time you're in, you the God moves into utero, right? So you enter another baby body. Do you have fragments still at that point of your past life? Just fragments, just little flashes here and there. You're pretty amazed at the fact, and you're kind of looking at what? You're looking at your hands, and you're looking at your feet, and you're looking at your legs, and you're looking all around. Some of us have enough recollection before it fades away completely. Some of us, and this shows you our memory, right? Some of us say to ourselves, I can't believe I'm here again. I'm not kidding you. Others are just absolutely elated. Now, how can you tell that? When you look, if you go to a maternity ward, I believe they still have them, and you see, these babies, kind of like in their bassinets, whatever, and you watch them. You watch each one of them, and of course the nurses are there attending, and you can see and feel which ones still have some remnants of the past life and which ones don't. The ones that totally don't are screaming their heads off, crying like crazy. The ones that do are pretty quiet. They're just kind of there. And it's interesting when you go into maternity ward and you walk through the different frequencies you sense and pick up. It's really interesting. We all do that. We all lose our memory of past life. Memory, mind you. But the actual experience we will access once we do these things. And some people might tell you it's all going to be done for you. Okay? Technology is so advanced it'll all be done for you. You don't have to lift a finger. And see, that's dangerous because we don't learn. We don't experience. See, by doing it ourselves, we experience a much richer interaction. There's a lot to be said for us to do things for ourselves. We learn we have a much deeper, richer experience. And you know this, if everything's always done for you, have you ever met anybody like that? Where everything's been done for you. It's like, you have a wardrobe, right? And you soil some of your clothes. Okay, what do? You throw them out. Those are people that have had everything done for them, which takes away a lot of our resiliency, our strength, our mobility, and sinks us deeper into ego mind and pulls us further and further away from heart mind. When each of us discover that everything and anything begins with us, everything and anything in this material physical world begins with us. So whatever we're creating, anywhere at this very moment now on this planet, we're manifesting it. Whatever we're focused on, we are manifesting it. You imagine that? 8.5 billion material physical bodies housing, for the most part, gods. All focusing their attention on things, and they have no idea that they're manifesting it. Isn't that wild? That's huge. And this is why you'll hear me say a lot, it's all about you. It isn't about anybody else, it's about you. And this is why we go through these steps. We choose to. Not everybody does, but a lot of us choose to transcend, move out of ego mind, leave ego mind alone, reside in heart mind to master ego mind. Then at that time we master our thoughts. We become the masters and commanders of our futures. We can change our destinies. We can change our futures just by focusing on the now. That's it. And operating, working, and being in heart-mindedness. Knowing what ego mind is. And then making the turn around the corner to say to ourselves, it's time for me that I focus on my heart mind. Which is nothing wrong with it. It's not like you're slighting anything. Goodness gracious, we've all had thousands of lifetimes in ego mind. So now we master it. We know how to master it for the most part. We really do have a direct course to master it. It's whether or not we commit to doing it. It's not about half-assing it because we say we commit and we move forward with it. Then things begin, your life begins to shift and change. It will, inevitably. And not for the worse, but for the much better. And when you do this, you begin to feel it. You begin to embrace it. It isn't foreign. It's like old home week for yourself. And it feels good. It doesn't feel obtrusive, not caustic, not abrasive. It feels really good. Something that feels really good, we're not going to do just once, are we? We're going to do it as much as we can. After all, we're here to enjoy our lives, not fight them. So in the quiet time of this meditation, view that. Watch it. See, watch your ego mind and what it's doing. You're not responsive to it. You're watching it. So you're not judging it. You're watching your ego mind. You're watching its thoughts. You're watching how it operates. You watch its insecurities. You watch that it is never satisfied. And then you shift and you watch heart mind. Yeah, you can sit back and watch the heart mind. And then embrace what you feel. I join you in meditation. I'll return close soon. Take a easy and slow breath in from the nose, and an easy and slow breath in from the mouth, in from the nose, out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on the breath rising and falling. This is your invitation to start being the master of your reality. Show us how enlightening you truly are by being the change you wish to see in this world. That was a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Today is the day to ground yourself in the reality that you wish to soar in. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, following morning. We'll return here tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, Friday, January 31st, 2025, to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. And Saturday, February 1st, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. Nor what's going on within you, nor outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.